Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2022.
2-2. 2022, it's looking up. How you doing this morning, babe?
I'm doing good. Hi, Nikki. 2022 is going to be awesome for you. New baby. We're so excited to add a new member to our practice, living a holistic and healthy way. I got to say, that's one of the coolest things that we get to see in the chiropractic side of our office is all these like babies being born into such a natural, healthy lifestyle to where hopefully they don't have to deal with all the issues that our generation is having to deal with like all these gut issues and hormone issues and you name it. And it's just because we didn't know any better. It's not like our parents were like purposely trying to ruin us. It's just what existed then is like not even close to what we have now. And we talk about nutrition all the time. And like when we were going through school, like they just didn't have these alternatives that they have now. So it's now never easier than it's easier now than ever before to like live a healthier lifestyle with nutrition and wellness and just all of the things like everything's at the drop of a fingertip. Like this morning, we needed a bunch of stuff and we hopped on Amazon and we're like, all right, it'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah, and now more than ever in history, we're over informed and under, which
Yeah.
means it's one thing to know this information, it's another thing to take action. So that's what today is all about is okay, hunkering down, let's take massive action. My favorite goal for every single year, January 1, is I want this next year to be healthier than the year before, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so like the Benjamin Button effect. You want to get younger as you're getting older, right?
Well, and that's the truth. And we see that all the time. We see people like heal because the biggest frustration is people feel like they're stuck with their issues and that like there's no hope. And that's like my least favorite thing is when people lose that hope because once you don't have the hope, it's pretty hard to dig yourself out of it. And so I think like you're saying, knowing that we're not asking you to be perfect, it's just like add one new thing or add this or add that. And then when you look back, you're like, oh my God, like I'm a whole different version of self that is a better version, healthy or physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all of the things. So again, like no matter where you're at, it's okay. We're pretty used to January, everybody coming back and saying, oh my gosh, the holidays really screwed me up. Okay, that's not unique to you. We had fun over the holidays, and you just got to learn how to course correct. And like Nikki said, when you know better, you do better. So again, let's just course correct. That's the purpose of today is to give you guys some good ideas on how to course correct back into the new year, get back on track, live the best version of self so that you have abundant amounts of energy, your digestive system is working, your hormones are on track. And again, you're not sick, suffering, miserable, and being a couch potato because you have to be.
Yeah, and your mindset, especially as it relates to nutrition. If you look at eating organic food, eliminating corn, dairy, gluten, and soy, staying away from your food sensitivities, if you look at that like a diet, you will be miserable. You'll have a victim mindset, victim mentality. I promise you, you are set up to fail. Okay.
Absolutely.
If that is your basis of your foundation is this is not a diet, this is my lifestyle today, tomorrow, next month, next year, next 5 years, next 10 years, you're going to be successful. Why? Because you may fall short here or there. You may have a little bit of Masillo pizza. You may have some fun when you're on vacation, but your reset is right back to healthy lifestyle, healthy foundation. That is the key.
Absolutely. And we talk to patients all the time. And, some people are not as aware nutritionally. And it's like, I ask the question, oh, are you eating gluten? Are you eating corn? Are you eating dairy? Like those are just the big heavy hitters. And people are like, oh my God, what do you eat? Like if you don't eat that, because like we don't ever eat gluten or dairy or soy. Like it just, like you said, it's part of our lifestyle. It doesn't come into our house. And I think that's the big component of like, you've got to put some time in. It does take time to learn like the rules. I hate using that verbiage, but knowing what are good oils to use, what are bad oils to use, what are good proteins. But once you have the general concepts down, it's pretty easy. And that's why we highly recommend you guys stay active and connected on like our social media because we're constantly posting recipes. I mean, people I think probably assume that we eat just like steamed veggies and like a piece of protein. And like the other day, we just posted like a healthy version of nachos that you would not even know that they were healthy and dairy free, corn free, soy free, all those things. It was just, we know the rules of what type of ingredients to have. And the kids freaking ate an entire tray of them. We devoured them. They were delicious. Multiple patients were like, oh my God, that's such a good idea. But again, you don't have to be like this martyr and eat disgusting cardboard food. I mean, maybe 10 years ago, that's what healthy food was. But nowadays, with all of the brands that are consciously aware of it, you've just got to learn the basic set of rules.
Yeah. And I was talking with a patient the other day who's really been getting beat down by her family members, by her loved ones, or like, just making passive aggressive comments and, oh, well, we could go out here, but, you couldn't eat anything, and, doing all these different things. And it's wearing and it's hard, but you have to anchor to what is your self-evident truth. And when a person does that, when you're saying, oh, I'm gluten-free, I'm soy-free, I'm dairy-free, and they're like, oh, well, I could never do that. Well, what they're doing is they're projecting their own insecurities onto you. So I promise you, if you cut out corn, dairy, gluten, soy, independent of whatever you have going on, you're going to feel better. I promise. Yeah. It's an absolute fact. So don't let anybody else derail you from what you know to be true.
Well, and I could never do that. I promise you, if your health got bad enough, you could do it. And I always think it's funny just to support patients, because we've been there. Thankfully, our family is so on board. And as a family, we have made this our lifestyle. But it's like, I think people also take it on, and it's like, I don't need you to worry about like where we're going out to eat. I'll do my due diligence. I'll make sure that we look at the menu ahead of time. And if you guys ever need help with that, like just ask us. We're really good at looking at a menu and navigating. It's a tool. It takes some time to learn how to do, but like you can pretty much eat anywhere and still follow your guidelines pretty good. And we're going to talk about, if you can't, how to course correct. Again, not to give you carte blanche to eat whatever you want. But like you can get a burger anywhere wrapped in lettuce. Don't eat the bread. Like if they have protein, get a plain piece of protein and some veggies. Like, so again, like don't be discouraged going off what you're saying when people like it weirds them out. It's their own insecurities projecting onto you, and just say like, hey, you don't need to worry about me. And I know our family, sometimes if they are going to have a vacation meal, they're like, we don't worry about you guys. You guys will either figure it out, you'll fast, or you'll grab a snack to go. And that's exactly what happens. Like, I mean, there are plenty of times where you and I have gone to a restaurant. We're like, yeah, I don't think so. And
yeah. And I think to our society, what I value more than the food is the fellowship.
Absolutely.
So when I go out to eat with family or with you, sweetheart, that's the most important thing to me, not what is on the menu. So I think where we really fall short is food becomes the entertainment. And that's where you can get yourselves into a lot of trouble. So just to illustrate your point about the burger wrapped in lettuce, our niece and nephew, what is their favorite restaurant?
Red Robin, when they're with us for whatever reason.
Why? Because of the stupid iPads that they have, and they love to play games, and like they don't hardly eat anything or whatever. My girl Dee at Red Robin in Elk Grove, she is phenomenal. You can ask for her every time you come in. She is the substitution queen.
Yes.
So she'll be like, all right, hon, what all do you want on your burger? Let's find the best option. And then we'll say that it's, wrapped in lettuce, and we'll add this. I'll get you the best deal. She's amazing. So always ask for Dee. If you get stuck at Red Robin playing video games on the iPad, she'll hook you up.
Exactly. Or even Mexican restaurants. We're like, oh my God. Okay, well, first of all, just don't eat the corn tortillas. And I know our colleague, Dr. Justin Pierce, has been on some of these Facebook Lives, if you guys have watched it. And he's like, I like tell the waitress or waitress, like, just don't even serve them. Because if they're on the freaking table, like, I'm going to eat them. And so we laugh because we're always like, we don't need them. Please don't serve them. Same thing with like bread at restaurants. But like even at Mexican restaurants, it's been pretty busy lately. And so we've been eating out even more than we normally do. And at a Mexican restaurant, we just order like carne asada or like fajitas. And it's probably not cooked in like the best oil, but we're making the best situation out of what we have. And we just don't eat the tortillas, and we eat the fajitas, and we order like guacamole, and like it's just
fried green onions are great. Yeah, all that.
So again, like if you ever need help with where to or what to eat at a restaurant, let us know. Our nutritionist actually just did a video on a lot of restaurants that are health conscious in the greater Sacramento area. And there was actually a couple that aren't even listed on there of places that you really don't need to worry about. Like, is it perfect? No, but like Pushkin's is gluten-free, and, just places that are going to be more aware of higher quality ingredients. So.
Yep. And then, when we talk about course correction, it goes back to, eating out should be a treat. If your core foundation is food served quickly, poor health is not far behind. So making sure that you're providing good, healthy, home cooked meals is going to be huge. And, like you talked about, the steamed vegetables and grilled protein, that can only get you for so long. So I've been waiting for this for literally 6 months. Y'all can see this, the Nom Nom new paleo book, Let's Go. And it's phenomenal. So she has 3. It's Michelle Tam and Henry Fong. And they're very, very, very awesome foundational cookbooks.
Yes.
And good food, different flavors that can be cooked quickly is what I love about them. So the first one's red, and it's really like the foundation stuff, like how to make broth, how to make ghee, just very, very basic stuff. And then there's a yellow one, and then now the green one. And the green one, I think, puts more of a focus on dairy-free alternatives.
I would agree.
Vegan alternatives, where you can still make different flavor profiles while coloring inside the lines. So I would highly, highly recommend it. I've made 3 recipes out of it so far. All of them were home runs, and I'm not looking for compliments, but back me up here, Dr. Lacey.
They're pretty good.
They're pretty good. So I would invest in that. I got it on Amazon, and it's my new favorite thing.
Yeah. One of the things I like about her cookbooks too, is, and we're not sponsored by her, is a lot of the core things that are in her recipes you can utilize for multiple different recipes. So for instance, we've been hooked on, there's a dairy-free queso, and we've made 3 different recipes with that base. Same with there's a recipe for how to make homemade pesto. And then there's a couple different recipes in the book that you use pesto. So what I like about hers is sometimes it can be daunting. I'm not a meal prepper, it's a downfall of mine, which is something that you should do if you want to succeed. But sometimes it's I don't want to make this hour-long recipe every night. That's exhausting. And so one of the things I like about her stuff is they're interchangeable, and it's a totally different meal with the very same ingredients. And so I think that's a really great way to financially be responsible with what you're buying at the grocery store, and then not get tired of eating the same monotonous meal every single day, because that's boring too.
Yeah. And I think too, with kids, it's important that you involve them as much as possible in this process, because I will tell you what, there's nothing that gets my blood boiling you go to serve a kid something and they don't even try it and they go, I don't like this.
We had that the other day.
We did have that the other day. And it was okay, well, this is what we're serving. So if you don't want any more snacks and no room service tonight, then that's fine. You don't have to eat it. And magically they tried it and they liked it.
And ask for seconds.
Ask for seconds. Yeah. So getting them involved, and even if it's just as simple as stirring something that doesn't need to be stirred, whatever, them taking ownership, you're going to get a lot less backlash as you're trying to make healthier alternatives.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about just some support of getting back on track. Obviously you guys all know what we should be doing for the most part, right? So one of the things that I think helps get everybody back on track after the holidays, because we've overindulged, and not just sometimes it's not even bad food. It's just, we ate a lot more. For us, I didn't eat anything that I shouldn't have. It was just there's this event and we ate so much that you're you wake up now and we can fast all day long. And I'm oh, my blood sugar is kind of wonky. I'm hungry. And a lot of us in the office were man, there's no reason I should be hungry at 10 a.m. right now, but I am. So one of the easiest ways to course correct back down to reasonable portion amounts and getting back on track with how many meals you should be eating and not snacking is intermittent fasting. And again, intermittent fasting is just a period of keeping a tight feeding window of when you start introducing food into your diet and then when you're done. So again, for some people, they want to eat breakfast. Well, then you need to be done eating food earlier in the day. So you really should only be consuming food within about a 6 to 8 hour window throughout the day. And then within that, you want to minimize snacking. So really you should be doing meals. Anytime you're not doing meals and you're snacking, what you're doing is you're creating abnormal blood glucose flow in the body, and it's going to trigger you to feel hungry, even though you're not. You're going to have that hangry mentality. And then physiologically, there's going to be a whole lot of things on the back end that it's messing with your hormones, your digestive system, all of those things that then it makes it exponentially harder to get back on track.
Yeah. And it's like that old adage, don't go grocery shopping when you're hungry.
Yes.
So if your blood sugar is crashing and you're not on your game, you're going to make bad choices.
Absolutely.
So, number one, don't have it in your house. Number two, get your blood sugar stable so you can say no, thank you. That's the only shot you got.
Yeah. So some tricks to help with fasting, because if you haven't been fasting because you've been doing breakfast or you've been hungry, whatever the reason is, there's a couple of things that you can do that are natural to help support your body in regulating blood glucose levels, which is that hangry feeling. One of which, my favorite, is cinnamon bark essential oil. It's a really powerful essential oil that when ingested, so I just put like a drop on my tongue, it really helps support your body to stabilize that blood glucose level. And I always have it on me because I'm not perfect. My body still has days where I wake up at 7 a.m. and I'm hungry, and I know I'm not actually hungry. I just put a drop of cinnamon oil in my mouth, and honestly, within a minute to 2 minutes, like that feeling is completely gone. So it's a really good thing to always have on hand, especially if you know that you're that type of person that you go from 0 to 10. And if you don't get food in your body, game over.
Yeah, I would say probably I've had 1 to 2 dozen patients this month complain about nausea, bloating, upset stomach, because they haven't been eating well. They've been cheating more than they should be. It's like, boy, I'm really feeling uncomfortable. What should I do? My first question I always ask is, what essential oils do you have? Okay. I love essential oils for, I don't want to say reactive healthcare, maybe in a crisis. I think they're really cool.
Yeah.
But if your stomach's upset all the time and then you're putting an essential oil on that calms your stomach down and then you don't change your eating, that's not good either. So my go-to with bloating, gassiness, from food, not eating your A game is going to be Digest Zen. I don't know if you all can see that. What I like to do is you'd apply this over your liver, which is on your right side, just underneath your chest. And then also in a circular clockwise pattern over your stomach. It can really help calm things down, ease. If people don't have Digestin, peppermint would be a good secondary. Ginger can be hot. That's a good tertiary. But again, Digestin, great blend. Every single person should have this in their supplement cabinet for times of emergency, because the worst time to need Digestin is when you need it and you don't have it. Okay.
Yep. I'm always a huge fan of blends because you're going to get like multi-purpose use. So Digestin can also be like rubbed directly on your chest for like heartburn. Again, like I love oils as like what you're saying, a holistic alternative to like Tums, antacids, or whatever. But again, we still need to address long-term why the digestive issues are happening. But I'm always a fan of something natural over something like over the counter or prescription. So like Tums, Digestin works fantastic instead of those. Like you said, and it works immediately. So if you've got kids are never going to be perfect with their nutrition. They're kids, kind of like let kids be kids. We're never going to be perfect. Or sometimes you try your hardest and you go out to eat and you're like, oh man, like whatever I just ate, like did not agree with me. That's where Digestin comes in clutch. Like just put a couple drops on your stomach, rub it in. It'll help ease because it's a digestive regulator. So whether you're backed up, you've got like the extreme opposite, it'll help to course correct your digestive system. And it works on all ages. So whether it's a baby that's having digestive issues, whether it's a kid, teen, adult, you name it, it works. So it's definitely one that you want to have in your arsenal. I would also say peppermint as well too, for the nausea component, because you can smell it. So yeah, Digestin's a huge one. It's one that I recommend to all my moms having their diaper bags too, because nothing worse than a baby that's all constipated and things like that, right? Yeah,
that's totally right. And then, as we're kind of winding this down today, if you guys can comment what you'd like us to talk about, what you'd like us to cover moving forward. We want this very, very interactive for you guys, so you get the most out of it, you get the best support. So leave a comment. Hey, I was always wondering about X, Y, and Z. How does this relate? Whatever, we're happy to talk about it.
And even if you're watching this afterwards, which most of you guys do, which is great, leave comments. We always get an alert, and between either us or our social media manager, we'll make sure that we get that response too. One thing I do want to talk about when we go back to the not snacking and eating meals, one of the main reasons that we recommend that, especially if you are having difficulty with your digestive system, is you really should be, most people should be using a digestive enzyme when they're eating, just to help their body support the digestive process, especially if we've got any type of food allergens, we've got a lacking or sluggish digestive system. Digestive enzymes really help to support your body process and digest that food. It helps substantiate with that bloating or that gassy post meals. So again, if you're having to take digestive enzymes multiple times throughout the day because you're snacking, that's going to be ridiculous, not cost effective or anything like that. So again, if we can minimize your daily caloric intake to ideally about 2 large meals and maybe a small snack in the middle of the day, if you're taking digestive enzymes with your 2 largest meals, you're really going to help support your body overall, just not have those extreme symptoms. And that's where that's a really good long-term fix for digestive support, just because our food isn't what it should be. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree 100%.
If you need help with what digestive enzyme works great for you, our favorite digestive enzyme for just a generic across the board support is called Biogest. It's from Thorne. And then with those patients that we have gone down the rabbit hole and done stool analysis to really look at their digestive system, there's oftentimes other digestive enzymes that we recommend that are very specific. But as a broad spectrum, what's a really good digestive enzyme? It would definitely be Biogest from Thorne. Best price point, and they get a really great broad spectrum digestive enzyme. So,
yep.
Cool.
All
right. Well, we look forward to hearing what you guys want to hear from us soon. Starting in February, we're going to kick off all of February with all of hormone support, how we support our hormones, how we heal them, things that we should and shouldn't be doing for overall health and wellness. So no matter if you are female, male, in menstrual issues, in menopause, wherever you're at, these are all going to be really basic guidelines of how to support your body. So we're going to kick that off in February. And then next week, we're going to be doing more things of just how to get back on track, how to support your body. So again, please let us know if you have any questions or what you'd like to hear more from us of. And we look forward to connecting with you guys soon. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and we'll talk